streaming. So then now we should be live. Okay. So we should be good. Alright, cool. What's going on, guys? So today I'm going to be doing something different. I'm going to be doing kind of like a live stream of Ableton Live. I have a little bit of time to kill between now and my gigs, so I figured I really want to get into doing Ableton Live videos for you guys. So let's just get right into it. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I'm not an instructor. I love this. I love this software. I've been using it for years and years. I've been using it since Live 8, and I'm on 11 now. And oh my God, this is an amazing software. So if you're tuning in right now, so pretty much what Ableton Live is, it's pretty much just a DAW, and DAW is just a digital audio workstation. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And what that allows you to do as a singer, songwriter, musician, whatever you want to do, or it is, you're allowed to do just so much. And you can create your own music, you can create beats, you can do stuff for YouTube videos, you can do just instrumental stuff, whatever you want to do. The sky's your limit with Ableton Live. And this is not what it looks like when you open it up. I have a template kind of, so I'm just going to delete some stuff here. Let me just close. First of all, I hope this is coming in clear. Maybe it's too loud. Let me just turn it down just a bit. I hope you guys can hear it and it's not doubly. Let me know in the comments. This is my first time streaming Ableton Live, so I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's delete that. So we deleted all that stuff. So we have our vocal channel. So I'm just gonna leave that. Ignore this part for now. So Ableton Live, again, it's a recording software, and sorry, just got a text message from the person I'm playing at the gig tonight. Cover bridge, can't wait. Woohoo! It's gonna be fun. So yeah, Ableton, when you open it up, it's gonna look like this. You'll have a MIDI track. You'll always have an audio and MIDI track, and a MIDI track is pretty much, for those of you that don't know, it's essentially what it is. It's an instrument that you can plug into your computer via like USB, and it sends a MIDI input into Ableton Live, and you can use that input on instruments, drums, etc., etc., etc. I'll explain that to you in a bit. And then you have your vocal channel, and then you have all these things here, like what you want to be focusing on, but you can shut that off right here. These are little automations. Automations are things that you can change with your channels right here. So say if you want, you have a vocal track right here, and you're like, well, I want more swell on the reverb, so you can turn this on, and you're allowed to automate that. You can go into Ableton and specifically do that. When you open it up, though, you might think to yourself, what's going on? What am I doing here? First of all, so if you look over on the top right, you have these two views. You have session view, and what's the other one? Scene view. So you have scene view and session view. So it all depends on what kind of musician you are and how you write it with music. That's why Ableton's so cool, and that's why I loved Ableton. I have the push board now, so it works like peanut butter and jelly. But essentially what this is it's kind of like a looper. So if you've ever used a looper before, it's kind of like looping. So you have all these channels, so you can create more audio tracks and create more MIDI tracks, or Control-Shift-T and Control-Shift, whatever. And you can create how many tracks you want. And I'm just going to hide my sends really quick, just so it's kind of more simple for you. Where is it? Here we go, sends and returns. This right here that you just saw me just do, these are just your views. So if you just want to hide things, you can just kind of hide them. So I don't want to confuse you with sends and returns right now, so I'm just gonna hide that. So when you open it up again, so we're in scene view right now, which is just the lines going down, vertical. So you'll have your your audio input, and then your MIDI channel, and you'll have your master channel right here. And it's not gonna look like this with the blues and the yellows. I just did that because this was a project I was doing on. But yeah, so it'll be like this. It'll look like this pretty much with the numbers going 1 through 10 or whatever. This right here on your master channel, this is your BPM, your beats per measure. So if you're in 120 or whatever, you can put that in, or you can change the time signature to 4/4. So say if you had, like, this is more if you're doing like live sessions. What I use for session, the scene view right here, I use this for getting the song out. I use this for, all right, I have an idea, I want to get it out. How do I do it? I'm looking for sounds, and that sort of stuff. And typically, on the top left, you have your file, edit, create, view options, help. If you scroll down, you can, open recent ones, open a new live set. You can save your things. You can save it as a template. So say if you like, you like the way this looks, you like the way this feels, you got a certain thing going on, you can save that as a template so you always can come back to it and you don't have to reset and do all that stuff again. You can export your audio and video, like typical, like say if you like the song, you're done with it, you want to release it, you export the audio. Let's see, your edit. This is, I never use this because you want to know why? I know the controls, so I don't really do this. But this is like if you didn't know what to do, you can just go to edit and you can cut this, or you can copy that, duplicate it. It's like Word. Create, you can, again, if you don't know the shortcuts, you can just go to here and create, insert MIDI track, audio track, MIDI track, return track, etc., etc. View, you can do full screen, second window, and all that stuff. Really, if I ever go anything up here, it's either for file to save or to export. It's your savings right here. I'm not going to save this just because I don't want to save over the template I have. But I'll show you that maybe later. If anything, options, you scroll all the way down and I'll go to preferences. I'm in preferences. I'm always going back and forth between the preferences a lot. So you open it up. This is where like the nitty gritty happens. When you first, if you ever do get Ableton, you're going to be really attached to this part. First of all, like for example, like your audio, you're going to be setting up your drivers where you set it up, and you can really get into the nitty gritty. I don't have the best computer. I'm not going to lie. I'm still using the laptop that I've had since I was in college. So it is not, dude, it's been to the ringer and back. But I get 12.3 milliseconds of delay when I record, which I don't monitor myself. I just listen to the tracks and I just shut the monitor off. And that really is fine. It only comes into a problem if I were to perform live, which I have yet to perform live with Ableton, so I don't think that's going to be a problem anytime soon. You link your tempo, MIDI and stuff like that. If you use MIDI and stuff like that, that's going to be really important. I have the micro key right now in the push board, your file folder. This is really important if you have VSTs and stuff like that. Like if you go in your plugins, you're going to want to make sure that your external plugins, VSTs are an external instrument. So if I, like for example, if I open this little arrow here on the bottom left, and I go into, if I scroll down this list right here and I go to plugins, you'll see VS2 and then VST and then VST3. With Ableton Live, they have this. I don't know why, but it's VST3. I don't get it. This never happened to me before. It always just be VST, but now it says VST3. I guess it's for the older ones into the newer ones, but I just use VST3 now. And even when I was downloading Waves, when I was talking to the guy at Waves, he was like, "Oh, you need to use VST3, blah blah blah." So I just use VST3, but these are your plugins. So for example, you can, let's see, I'll just put this on. I love this. This is the Butch Vig vocals from Waves. And this is just, it pretty much manipulates your voice. It's a processing system. I use it in all my tracks. Did I just cancel out Ableton? No. Delete that though. But yeah, there's all sorts of stuff. I have I love the one knob ones. The one knobs are just really nice. Like you can just put it on here and it's just one knob and you just turn it up and it gets really wet and you can turn it all the way down. I just like it. It's simple. They have all these presets so you can find where is it? Here, where is it? I guess they don't have presets. To be honest, I just use one knob. So I thought they would, but it should be pretty basic. So, um, you know what's a really good plugin I use a lot other times is a CLA. CLA, man, on Waves is really good. I I think it's better than the Butch Rig, but I could be totally wrong. But just I don't know. It uses less CPU, I think, than the Butch Rig, but again, I could be totally wrong. But you have a lot of presets, and I will admit, here, I'm going to shut this off just so there's not that much going on. I will admit, I don't like the CLA for if you're going for radio or telephone effects. Not really a big fan of that. I like the Butch Rig. The Butch Rig has a really cool telephone. I'll go to it right now. So if you go to the presets, telephone. This is just a perfect telephone. You know, if you're ever trying to, that's a perfect telephone. But those are VSTs, and VSTs can be audio plugins that you put in, like vocal effects, or they could be like instruments. So instruments are not going to go onto the audio track; they're going to go onto the MIDI track. So I'm going to open Massive. I'm going to click it, drag it over to the MIDI channel, the MIDI what we were talking about earlier, and make sure it's armed, which it's not. Turn this down just so you can, actually I'll just get better sound. Oh god, I have a plethora of sounds I've been collecting for years. A lot of these are shite. You see, you have to and so yeah, so it can be instruments too. I've recently just went and I collected all the sounds that I've had over the years, and I put them all in one spot for me. Like you got leads, you know. You can do anything you want, and there's packs on there. So the Massive is by Native Instruments. You buy the Massive, which I bought when I was in college. Like all these things I've had for years because I started Ableton when I was in high school. So Massive, I don't even know what version I'm using anymore. Hold on, I don't think I've upgraded, so I'm just using this like the old one. But you know, and then you can also do stuff like let's see, like I'm gonna go to the VST one. And we're going to go to the ample bass and put that in instead of the, and then there you go, you have a bass, which I use for all my tracks. Bass players are literally cringing right now, so yeah, you can do that. And another cool thing that I use is if you scroll down this right here, you go to, let's see, let's go to packs. I'm just going to scroll down and I'm just going to do Session Drum Studio. I'm going to do drums, and I'm going to do Session Dry. Let's just do that. It's cool because you can get drums too, and there's all sorts of drums. It like literally the sky's your limit. I'm just showing this for you right now just because it's bare bone. It's easy. If you've never used Ableton before, this is what it is. I should get the other camera going up where I show you my push board right here, but right next to me is my push board. I just turned it on. I don't know if you heard the little doot doot doot. So I'm going to turn that on, and now I have this armed, as you can see on the red. You just arm it right here. That's how you arm it. Now on my push board, I can yeah. And you know, you can, and here is pretty much, so if you look on the bottom left, this is what it's showing you. It's primarily like what your instrument is. So if you look on the furthest left, it's showing you the clips. Really to the far left, you can add as many sounds as you want. This actually has two boxes, so I'll do layout. So that's pretty cool. And then you can let's see, you can, oh my god, you can manipulate it in any way you want. You can pitch shift it, you can add modulations, you can change the MIDI of it if you wanted, which I never really mess with this stuff. I don't really try to You know, simple is key. I'm always like simple is key with this stuff. You can sidechain stuff and do all that stuff. This is what this is. When I'm showing you the macro controls. So say if you have the push board, I can turn this and it's gonna. I have to MIDI map it, etc., etc. Now you're probably thinking, all right, this is cool and all, but what's all this stuff to the left here? So to the left here, you got, you know, geez, you're gonna open it up, and first of all, it's gonna tap tempo. So if you have a tap tempo, you know, 1, 2, 3. See, it's gonna, you know, that's an insane tempo. But like 1, 2, 3. So 70 beats. Now it's gonna. This is gonna be your time signature. This is gonna be your counting. So if you want to hear your metronome, when you're recording, do you want it to be 4 bars in or 2 bars? So it'll count you in 4 bars in. I always have it at 1 bar or usually 2 bars. And then right below that, you have your library. You can open it and close it this way. But here you have your collections, which they just added to 11, which I absolutely love. So they have their favorite, you know, you can change it. You can color code it to however you want. For me, I kind of made it simple for me. So I have my favorites, which I clearly have nothing in. Effects, I just made it so if I'm looking for an effect, boom, they're all my effects. My drums, boom, they're all my drums. Boom, here are all my instruments. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Loops and samples, boom, right here, even though they already have that in the samples right here. So what sample, yeah, I'll get into that in a minute, but you have your other MIDI, so you'll get accustomed to that. You can go into the sound and you'll right click it and you can assign a color to it. Below here, the categories, you have your sounds, which is all your instruments that Ableton Live gives you. So Ableton Live, when you buy it, depending on the version you have, it comes with stock sounds. It comes with things that you can use just right out of the box. Some of them are great sounds and some of them are total shite. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Like, I don't even use ever their amps or anything like that because they are complete garbage. Ableton, listen to me. Listen to me. If you're going to be making another Ableton, for God's sakes, listen, just feel us out for the guitarists and just give us some good amps so we don't have to spend loads of money on your software and then have to buy loads of money from another company because I just want to be using Ableton. When it comes down to it, I love Ableton. I don't want to have to take up too much CPU with other VSTs. I just wish Ableton could just listen to their feed, their audience a little bit more, but they do a great job of what they do, so I'm not totally shiting on them. They're a big company, I get it. So if you scroll down their sounds, again, you have your drums, so this is every drum kit that they have. I have this suite, so I just, yeah, you get loads of sounds. Instruments, so this is like sounds but more broken into categories, so this allows you to create your own instruments. So here is just like, this is like your presets, they're just here, you can just drag and drop. Like, so I'll like open up this synth key and just play this one, just drag and drop it on the MIDI channel. So I'm going to play it and you can edit it and do all that stuff. But what's cool is I'm just going to make another MIDI track. I'm going to disarm this one, arm this one, and if I go into the instruments now, I can go into these instruments and legit create my own instrument. Okay, what I mean by that is, like, say if I take operator, I'm going to drag that and literally just plop it. Okay, now when you hear it, it's just a typical saw. You can manipulate this so it changes it. I'm not really a sound design guy. I'm gonna be quite frank with you. But if you are a sound design guy, like if you want to go in and create your own sounds, I do it every now and then. You can go and really create your own sounds, so you don't have to use those presets or something like that, and do all that stuff. But I mean, for me, if there's a certain sound I'm looking for, I'll sound design it. But for the most part, it's pretty easy to find the instrument you're looking for with 2022. I use loop masters, producers, loops, stuff like that to get like preset packs. There's ADSI. I think that's ADS or AVSD or AD. I don't know what it. There's so many are. There's waves. There's plethora. Nexus, Omnisphere. There's so many VSTs and plugins. Anyway, getting lost. Audio effects. Audio effects are things that you're going to add to your audio. So if you want to add a delay or a looper, which just don't use a looper, just use a scene layout, dude. This is going to be easier. But they have delays, filters, and all that stuff. They have your amps, overdrive pedals. I never use this one ever. Maybe I might. For a drum bus, yeah. I'll use a drum bus. Dynamics, I'm in here a lot. You have your compressors, you have your gates, your glues, your limiters, your multi-bands. Oops, let me get rid of that. Get out of here. Multi-band dynamics. You have your EQs and filters, EQ8s, EQ3s, and if you open it up, they already have it in categories, so it takes the work out for you. You have your modulations, your pitch and modulations, your reverb and resonance, and then utilities, which is pretty. It's utile, futile. No, I don't know. I don't know what I was going with there. I was trying to be punny, but it's pretty important to use these. I use the utility just on my master channel. I use a tuner on some tracks just to make sure it's really in tune. Surround panner sometimes. Stuff like that, just to really make your music stick out. MIDI effects are effects that you can add to your MIDI. This is actually something I don't use, but I've actually been getting more into it just because it's when curiosity killed the cat, so I see it so many times. I'm like, what does this really do? And this is really cool. So I'm not gonna go into. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I know what everything does here. I don't know what everything does here. What I do know is that what it can do is it can create like a sequencer. It can make it so that you can play certain scales, or make certain chords, but just by playing one note. So for example, say if I did. So I'm just gonna use this. Okay, I'm just gonna put down the chord one, and say I put a major chord. Now I'm just hitting one note. Okay. That's one note. Now you can use that for. That's usually more important for house, like let's see. You can hear that. That's usually what I hear what being used for, but that's why I don't really use these as that much. The way I like to look at this is these are textures that you can add. They're pretty cool. Max for Live, and I don't use Max for Live, so I'm just going to ignore that. But it's a very, very cool thing. VSTs, I was kind of showing you guys about that. VSTs, again, they're virtual instruments that you can buy from other companies and plug them into Ableton Live, such as basses, instruments, audio effects, master EQs, etc., etc. It's insane. Clips, these are just clips of things that you can look through. Is this library? Say if you're just trying to look for something, you can, if you're looking for a specific groove or anything like that, you can just type it right in here. Samples, it's kind of like the same thing, but these are more sample clips. So like your crashes, your flash, your hats, your snare hits, your one shots. That's why I call them one shots. You'll hear that term a lot. One shots is what they're called. Grooves, this is like if you're doing MIDI stuff and you want it to have a little bit of a shuffle, but you can't do it yourself. You can add that into your groove pool, and that's right here. So you have your groove pool, and you can just kind of click it and drag it into that and apply it and leak it through to your MIDI channel, so it kind of gives it a little bit more of a flavor. Your templates, again, these are just templates that you save personally by the files, save as template, and this will just come in handy to you without further ado. These are your places, your packs, your use a library. You'll do this because you'll just add the folder. Like I just make it so it's like I have my loop masters, one of producers loops just right there. I have drum kits that I've personally made myself. My mouse I think just tweaked out. There we go. But yeah, I have all sorts of stuff on here. Now if you go into the top right view, so this is going to be your typical like FL Studio, GarageBand. You have your your bars of music on the top. You have your time on the bottom, how long it is, which you want to know what's sick. I didn't realize this was here until probably like 6 months ago. And I was like, when did they add that? I never noticed that because I've always just guessed, and that's why if you look at my songs, that's why some of them are like 8 minutes long because I didn't fucking know. To be honest with you. So yeah, this is it. So you're gonna have right here, you can add your MIDI clips and everything and assign it like you will. And then you have your over on your right, you have your channels and everything like that. This is going to be your like on the very bottom, your view of what you're viewing at, whether it's like a vocal channel or MIDI channel. It'll show your instrument, and then you can go back and forth to the actual MIDI when you actually. So let me just like show it to you. I'm just going to record a clip. Okay, so we're just going to do 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4. So we're just going to do that. I'm going to do 2 3 4, have it play. And to do like okay, have it play back. Okay, now take this, loop it so it gets looped. Okay, let's say we're working with that. All right, I like this. You're like, I want to work with that. Okay, where do we go from here? I'm gonna go into my user library. I'm gonna go into my presets. I'm gonna go my instruments, drum rack, and let's see. I have a Pure House. I'm just gonna use that one. I like the Pure House one. It's just a fun one, man. So I'm going to open that up, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm just going to arm it, go down. Let's turn down. I hope this isn't too loud for you guys. Yeah, if it is too loud, just leave me in the comments. Again, I'm new to live doing this for you guys, so I'm just going to go down to layout. I'm hitting the layout right now on my push board so I can see all the. So 3 4. So let's do like yeah. So okay, 1 2 3 4. There we go. Alright, so now that that's there, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna I was recording my vocals in that. That's funny. So I'm just gonna take that and let's see. You can quantize it. Okay. I'm gonna go to this. Remember I was telling you guys about this? I'm gonna hit this. Now the way I personally do it is I have the push board, so I'm showing this for you guys. I'm trying to make this all kind of like in front of you. So if you've never opened up Ableton before, you're like, what does this do? I'm showing it to you so you can kind of understand it. So you click this bottom left one on well, you know what I mean. On the bottom right, you have 2 tabs. You can just right click and do Quantize Settings. You want to be very careful with this. I usually do either 1/16 or 1/32 just before, to drag it closer, because I'm usually off, so I want it to be more on beat. So that's usually what I'll do. Or if you look here, this actually might be a little away, so we might have to tweak it. It really all does work though. See, it always works at the start. So that should be very on time now. Now let's go to this one. Sometimes with keys it makes it messed up, so let's quantize that. Nope, just made it more in time. And then really it just comes down to sound designing. You could do, so say what's cool about this is you can go audio effects, go into like a filter, grab an audio filter, drop it here. You know, obviously you add your reverb. I'm just kind of showing you like really quick here. So repetitive. I was just kind of showing you guys an example, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much how Ableton works. You know, you can say if you have, what I always do is I'll create another MIDI channel and I'll call this order. So I'll just type orders, and I'll say like, let's call this like Control Shift M. I have this like super up for you guys, but you just do that. Control R, rename, type, let's call this like the verse, say that's a verse. And then you can grab this, Control D, duplicate it, and say you want to extend it so it's an 8-bar loop. There you go. Boom, you have your 8-bar loop. And then now say if you want to have your chorus, it's probably going to be an 8-bar loop anyway. So you take that, copy it. You're probably going to have a pre-chorus, right? Actually, it's probably gonna be a two-bar pre-chorus. So probably just copy this and then paste it right here. Maybe drag it in there, and then you'd probably have like a synth or key, because you just can't have that be repeating over and over again, right? So yeah, it just becomes, so you change this and you call it, Control R, chorus. Control D, duplicate, and you Control Shift M, Control R, we're going to call that the pre-chorus, and then we're probably going to have a little break right here. I like to do that sometimes, so Control Shift M, Control R, do BR, and then it's probably going to be, I could see a song like this being kind of like more of a story. So if the first verse was an 8-bar, let's kind of tell the story a little bit more. We're gonna Control V, Control D. Oh, so we're gonna do it twice. Control C, Control V, Control D. So it's gonna be double the length, maybe even longer. But you're gonna add. It's not just, you see. I'm sure if you listen to a song like this right now, just as is, I would not last until, I probably wouldn't even last at the chorus because it's just repetitive as shit. But you're getting the idea of how the flow works, and that's how Ableton works, and it makes it easy for the songwriter or producer just to make stuff. And what's cool is, say if you wanted to perform this and you're like, you know what, I actually want to perform this live. So you take the scene and you drop it, boom, right in there. Take this, boom. You can just, there's easier ways of doing it, but then you can just play it right here, and it's going to mess up because it's 90 BPM and it's going to tweak everything out. That wouldn't normally happen. Say if we just move it to this one, so we're just going to do Shift, boom. Now, like I said earlier, I have a push board right next to me, so when I go to session view on my push board and I scroll down, I see these two things, these two clips, so I can just hit the scene, boom, plays it. So that's a way you can perform it and do live session, or just have fun with it, I'm gonna make this short and sweet. That's pretty much my introduction for Ableton Live. That's super sweet and simple. The sky's your limit. That's pretty much what I say. As Timbaland says, today's music has changed. You don't have to work hard. You work smart. So work smart. Don't work hard, but also work hard too, because that's rewarding. But anyway, I hope this came in clear. I hope you guys can understand it. I hope it makes sense. I hope I didn't ramble too much. I tried to be clear, and I really wanted to express this to you because I want to start making more of these videos. If it sounds like shite, just let me know so I can adjust the volumes for the next time. I'm using OBS, so I'm really new to this, but guys, I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to like and comment and subscribe and do all that stuff. Much love. Peace.